Sensation, our window in the outer world, the source of raw data that composes our understanding and cognition of surrounding environment. Despite of its importance, senses are not reliable to some extent. Sensory data must be interpreted by the brain to give it meaning in the process of perception. Unfortunately, perception can be affected by thoughts, illusions, former experience, and even data from other senses. For example, smell affects perception of taste.
Burnt jello.
Oh,
Now, before I eat all this, since I know that it's jello, I'm actually trying to make the. Ugh, sorry.
it's barbecue sauce.
And sight affects perception of hearing.
Concentrate first on the right of the screen. Now to the left of the screen. The illusion occurs because what you are seeing clashes with what you are hearing.
So, we wanted to study the effect of sight on the perception of taste. Taste buds in our tongues have the ability to determine basic groups of taste. But as we said, the way we perceive the taste doesn't depend only on the sensory signals sent by taste buds to our brain, because our brain has associated all types of food we encounter throughout life with their smell, color, and appearance. If any of the associated features with a certain type of food is missing, our mind would probably get confused and cannot correctly recognize the taste. In our experiment, we are going to put these claims under test. The experiment was simply to change the color of popular commercial juice using authorized tasteless colorants. Subjects of the experiment were asked to drink the colored juice and identify it. We used 4 types of juice: orange, apple, mango, and pineapple, and 3 types of colorants: red, brown, and black. The mixing of juice and colorants were randomized to acquire various types of combinations. The experiment was conducted on 60 young adults from both genders, mostly aged from 19 to 22 years old. They were divided into an experimental group and a control group. The only difference between groups is that the members of the control group were completely eye covered to eliminate the effect of altered juice colors on their perception. We wanted the subjects of the experiment to identify the juice normally, and not to take it as a challenge. So, they were told that the purpose of the experiment is to determine the effect of gender on the perception of sugar. They were asked to estimate the amount of sugar in the juice. They were also asked to identify the juice as a side question. The results of the experiment are quite interesting. As for the control group, 14 out of 20 subjects were able to correctly identify the juice, representing a percentage of 70% of the total control group subjects. On the other hand, only 17 out of 40 experimental group subjects were able to correctly identify the juice, which represents only 42% of the subjects. This 28% of decrease in correct answers is probably due to the wrong perception of taste due to the interference of sensory data from the eyes and the tongue. It may be also useful to mention that percentage of correct answer in the experimental group were 11% higher in males than females. However, they showed no difference in the control group. It is a clear evidence of the ultimate dominance of men over women. Just kidding. Now we come to secondary observations. It was noticeable that even subjects who correctly identified the juice showed verbal and facial expression of confusion. Some of the subjects who got brown juice showed expressions of disgust. Pineapple was the juice with the lowest percentage of correct answers, with only 20%. It is probably because pineapple is much less popular than other types of juice. Interestingly enough, red color had the lowest percentage of correct answers, only 26%. A reasonable explanation is that red color is common among juice, so subjects were comfortable to consider it as a normal juice. Meanwhile, brown and black are not common juice colors, so the subjects were skeptic about them and exerted more concentration and effort to identify the juice. This experiment gives us one more evidence on the subjectivity of our senses and the effect of former experiences and prototypes on our perception of the world, which alarms us to a crucial question: to what extent can we trust our senses?